Everything's wireless now, huh? Huh? Wireless. It's all wireless. Wow. High tech. High tech. Hare Krishna. You know what? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bring it up. This up. Bring that up. It won't go up? Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay, now tighten it. Okay, bring it over. Can you hear it? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. In Washington, D.C., where I live from, I used to live in Mayapur during Prabhupada's times. And so, last few years I started arranging a lot of the prayers on guitar. So since I lived in Mayapur, I said I want to sing this song to Radha Madhava in Mayapur. This arrangement. So, in Baltimore, temple is one of the original temples established by Prabhupada, and they have wonderful Nitai Gaur and Lord Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, and they've been there for a long time. So that year, they built a new temple and it was transferring the deities to the new temple. So that was on a Thursday. Thursday was the day that I made this arrangement. So they called me Friday and said that Saturday is going to be the installation, the transfer of the deities from the old temple to the new one. So when I got to the temple, I saw another altar, because it always was two. Nitai Gaur and Lord Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, not three. So there was Radha Krishna too. So I said, wow, what's the names of the deities? He said, Radha Madhava. So I said, wow, just see, the Lord's so kind. He arranged it so I didn't have to go all the way to Mayapur, and I could just come down the street from my house to sing this arrangement to the Lord, and that's what happened. And those type of circumstances has plagued me all through my life by the mercy of Prabhupada. Just like yesterday. No, not yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, right? Sunday? Okay, Saturday, the 12th. The 12th Saturday in the Hyderabad Temple, 1975, Prabhupada gave a lecture. In that lecture was the same theme. The exact same theme that I was presenting in this book. So I didn't even have to say anything about the book because that's what Prabhupada was saying in that lecture, and Prabhu was reading the lecture. So the point I'm making is, the Lord has His plan. Prabhupada had His plan, and when you embrace the Siddhanta and His instructions, He reciprocates like that, and He always give you a sign to stay the course. Of course, everybody here in their lives, they can have similar stories like that, but those things are very mystical to me, and they just keep repeating itself over and over again. Because this whole project that I'm doing here with the book Traveling, I didn't plan this. I was content in Washington, D.C., doing what I was doing at the time. But when the pandemic hit the world, everything changed. And so, one thing led into another. So this is try to follow water. Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Manava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Manava Girivardhari Shoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Shoda Nandana Vajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Panachare Jamuna Tira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Giridhari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Giridhari Gopijana Vallabha Giridhari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Gora Hariva, 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 Nita Gora Hariva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Śrīmad Prabhupada. Go to Premanande! Go! Ram Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhakachara Sturatara Satya Shri Śrīmad Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. It off? Yes. Okay. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. I appreciate and Prabhu put this in there. Okay. So I want to lose it. I appreciate the invite. This is called Attapura. Hatapur. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim sarasvatim vyasam Tato jayam udayat Srimvatam swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Ridantasto Yabhadrani Vidunote Sarutsatam Nasta Praishu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naisike Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 289, right? Ajasrityate Bhutani Bhutatma Jad Anugrahat Adreshe Jena Tadrupam Nabe Padma Samurbhavaha Ajasrajati Bhutani Bhutatma Jad Anugrahat Dadrishe Jena Tadrupam Nabe Padma Samurbhavaha. Go ahead, chant. Aja Srijate Bhutani Bhutani Bhutatma Jad Anugrahat Rupam Nabi Padma Samurbhavaha. Come on, one more. Ajasrityate Bhutani Bhutatma Jad Anugrahat Rajeshim Jajim Radmupam Nadvi Padma Samurbhavaha. Aja, one who was born without a material source. Srijati, creates. Bhutani, all those materially born, Bhuta Atma, having a body of matter, Yat, who, Anugrahat, by the mercy of, Dadrashe, could see, Jaina, by whom, Tat, Tat Rupam, his form of body, Nabi, navel, Padma, lotus flower, Samud Bhavaha, being born of. Translation by Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The first living creature, Brahma, is called Aja because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother, materially born. He was directly born from the bodily expansion of the lotus flower of the Lord. Thus, it is not readily understandable whether the body of the Lord and that of Brahma are of the same quality or different. This must also be clearly understood. One thing is, however, certain. Brahma was completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord because after his birth, he could create living beings by the Lord's grace only. And he could see the form of the Lord, whether the form seen by Brahma is of the same quality as that of Brahma is a bewildering question. And Maharaja Pariksit wanted to get clear answers from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Om Jnana Timiram Disya Jana Sala Salakaya Tukshul Mitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manom Bistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Sva Badantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabatu Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopicha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Motite Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu State Devi Pranamami Hari Pray Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyas Cha Kripa Sindhu Eva Cha Patitana Pavnevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Thy Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadha Srivasam Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So the Purushas, the three Purushas of the creation of the universe, is three. Mahavishnu was Karuna Dakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Kashur Dakshai Vishnu. Which Vishnu is this verse speaking of? Garbhodakshai Vishnu, right? And which one is Kashur Dakshai Vishnu? So everybody know what the Mahavishnu is, huh? It can't be, it has to be the other one. The last one is where all the universes are emanating from, Mahavishnu, right? That shows you the power of the Vedas information. The other day, there was a question. He was reading about Lord Vyasadeva. And Lord Vyasadeva is of the 6 avatars of the Lord. There's 6 avatars. These are the ones we're speaking of, are the first 3, Purusha. And the other 6, like Leela avatar, Guna avatars, Yuga avatars, Satyavesha avatar. But Krishna, what's the last one? I missed one. Yeah, that's right, Manva avatar. Yeah. So, but Krishna is the original. Prabhupada gave the example that, like you have a candle and you light the candle, although all the candles have the same potency, but there's still one original. But there's a group here in India who thinks that Krishna is an expansion of Vishnu. He's an expansion of Vishnu. They think that Krishna is the expansion or incarnation from Vishnu. And that's just not the case. It's the opposite. That's the unfortunate thing in India now. Prabhupada says the misinformation that's being distributed throughout the land. And as a result, people are being misled because culturally, people in this great land is always adhere to authority. But because of the cheating and the influence of Kali, so much so that they've lost the ability to accept authority. Because see, India, this is the place of Gyan. There's no place on this planet where spiritual knowledge is disseminated and given of such a high degree. This is the highest information. But because of like Prabhu said, the influence of Kali and the ruined Vedic culture, they don't want to follow no rules now. Nobody wants to follow rules. Just like here, the law is to wear a helmet when you drive a motorcycle or a scooter. Some do and some don't. They just don't do it. Even though it's for their own benefit. Last month, the fees went up for the punishment. I mean, went up to from 1,000 rupees to 5,000. Didn't make a dent. It didn't even move nobody, you know. But when they cracked down, then that's when they acted. Because you go to Delhi, no, everybody's wearing a helmet. I was very surprised that because the government's there. But everywhere else, nobody wears. Because of, let's say, Prabhu said, because of the influence of Kali Yuga and the cheating propensity so bad that nobody wants to follow. Everybody wants to follow their own rules. When you go to the store, just go to a regular store and buy something. Nobody stands in a line. You stand in line, they'll walk right up to the planet as if you're not there, and just put this stuff in there, and like you're not there. And this is the culture. It's everywhere. I see this everywhere I go. Same thing. I'm standing in line. They just walk right on up, put this stuff, and then look. And when you say something, they actually think you, what's wrong? This place is the hub of Gyan. I did 15 years of research this topic. Anyone who has taken birth as a human being in India, Bharat Bhumi, people have no clue, no idea how fortunate they are taking birth here. It's not a cheap thing to take birth as a human here. Although planet Earth is also in that sphere because Bhumandala, but I'm specifically speaking about Bharat Bhumi and people here. Because if India was to embrace their culture, they would easily be the leaders of the world. Easy. But because that's not the case, they're not. And Prabhupada, I remember when he gave a lecture in 1965 in San Francisco, 1965. He spoke to the American Indian Association. Now I'll tell you something. The American Indian Association is the number 2 most powerful lobby group in the United States currently. Now, I mean, it hadn't always been that way, but right now they're number 2. That's how powerful they are now, with the influx of people going there. But a youngster raised his hand to Prabhupada. It was a student, and he said, "Swamiji, we've come here for technology and knowledge and gain." Prabhupada said, "Yes." He said, the difference between me and you is that you've come to beg and I've come to give. He said, you've come here and completely abandoned your culture. And he said, many Swamijis that come here, they've said that, Swamiji, you have to adapt. You have to adapt to some of the customs and so forth. Prabhupada said, even I've not changed my dress. Everybody knows I've not changed my dress. He says, and you will see that I will teach my students, and they will also adapt my dress. And which, true, when Prabhupada came, he brought his, what was that? Which city was that? Where they had the great white, in the news they called it the great white elephants. Surat. It was in Surat. Surat. It was a huge program. And that was a great testament to Prabhupada's legacy. He brought all his disciples and he said, and you will see how great this culture is. And he proved it. So 20 years started, me and some God brothers, we would get together and study Prabhupada's books. And then one year, we just happened to read about people born in Bharat Varsha as humans. So by me being here doing Prabhupada's time, he wanted me to preach here. That subject matter intrigued me. So I just did my own personal research on the subject matter. And I wasn't out to make a book. It's just something I was doing for my own personal research. But each time I shared it with my friends, they kept saying, it sounds like a book. I said, no, I'm not a book writer. And each time I get more information, they kept saying it. Sounds like a book. So then I had to agree with them. And so when the pandemic hit the world, things changed. And so I had promised Prabhupada that I was going to come back to India one day and do some preaching, because he wanted me to come here. He wanted me to preach here. But I didn't know when I was going to come and what I was going to do. But he's so kind, he made a way. He set it up. So much so, here I am. You see, taking birth here as a human, it takes many lifetimes. Prabhupada says in the beginning of it, out of 8,400,000 different species, to get the human form of life takes a lot of work. And when you take birth here as a human here, that means you've already put in some work. I got the Sukriti, you put in some work. So by birthright, Prabhupada said, by birthright, without doing anything, without doing anything, I already did 50%. 50%. You hear me? 50%? And then some said by their karmatic adhikar, 80%. And that's all you have to finish up the other 50. But nobody, they're not doing it. No one knows this. And it's a waste, because they put in all this work to this level and then misuse it, because there's no guarantee to take birth again as a human being, especially here. There's no guarantee. So these are very important for us, and for us to help these fortunate souls to understand how fortunate they are. I mean, I'm seeing this on a daily basis now, everywhere I'm traveling all over in India. I mean, I've been here almost 4 years now. That went by like a blur. 4 years. And I have just scratched the surface in traveling. For example, Prabhupada says here, see what happened when I first came here in 22, the small company that helped me do, they put the author's bio on the back. So when I got here, my realization was, this is not about me. So I had to take that off and put these quotes on. Have more power than reading about me. And I call them jewels of instructions. Prabhupada says this should be India's mission. India hasn't got to learn from anywhere else. Everything is there. So all those who are thinking they're going to go to the U.S. and get their green card and increase their life, Prabhupada said you don't have to go anywhere. Just everything's here. He said, let them understand the whole philosophy of life perfectly and distribute this. This is India's mission. Then he says, another quote, you have got so exalted knowledge in India. You have kept it packed, and you are going to beg from others. Take this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, assimilate it, make your life successful, and distribute it throughout the whole world. That I want. So that's another direct request from Prabhupada to you. The airports in this country, the international airports, they should be packed with people leaving to go and distribute this information all over the planet. Every day it should be packed. People leaving to go to save this planet. Because this is the schoolhouse. This is the place. You know, this is the guru factory. Then Prabhupada says, any Indian, any man who has taken birth on the soil, he says, of Bharatvarsha, India, he has got a special duty. And that duty is to, finish it. Finish it, come on. Come on, y'all. Do it loud. What did he say? Spread Krishna consciousness. That's our duty. That's your duty. That's your duty. That's why you took birth here. That's why you're here. That's why you've attracted to this sadhana bhakti process. It's not a cheap thing. You put in the work. And by putting in the work, the Lord's reciprocating. It's helping you see, giving you tools. Then he just says that our India is not meant for exploiting others. It said doing good to others. That is India's mission. Our teachers, speaking about the acharyas, our acharyas do not teach us go and exploit others and bring money. That is not India. It comes down to choice. Education and choice. Like when Krishna was speaking to Arjuna. What did he say? Vimushashad ashashena. It's your choice. See, love. The love factor is volunteer. Like when I'm traveling around to the temples, you know, I see we have the workers, you know, doing the sweeping, cleaning. We did all that during Prabhupada's time. We was doing that. There was no hired sweepers, washers, painters. We did everything. I was thinking when I saw that, what would Prabhupada think? What would he say? Because I know he would mentally, he would calculate the cost. How much you're spending. How much you're spending to pay them versus if we was to do it. But love is voluntary. Krishna wants to love. And he reciprocates. And this information that the Lord has given us is profound. See, it's all in the presentation. We have to present this information in such a way that everyone will want to take advantage of it, because it's actually superior. We can't present this process like this is our group. We got the Muslims, we got the Christians, and we have our group too. It's not like that. Prabhupada presented this process superior. It's for everybody. It's all inclusive. It's not for one group. We're not Hindus. There's no word Hindu in any of the scriptures. It's Bhagavatam Dharma or Sanatana Dharma. That includes everybody. If you're a Muslim, you become a better Muslim. Christian, you become a better Christian. It's just like Prabhupada says, when you go to a university and you want to study music, they don't ask you what background you come from. Anybody can come to learn, because this is a science of God realization. It's a science of the Lord. And it's deep information. It's superior. I don't use the word Hindu. Me personally, I've done 5 years ago, I did my personal research when I was in America, and I was traveling to the temples in America, and this one John Monstamy. So I had two groups I would ask. I had some devotees, and I would ask the congregation, especially from here. And I asked them, if I was to come outside and ask them what religious background, what would you tell them? And 90% of them said Hindus. Prabhus, we're not Hindus. This is not Hindu religion. It has nothing to do with that. It's Sanatana Dharma or Bhagavata Dharma. And that includes everybody, because Sanatana means eternal and Dharma means duty. It's one's eternal duty. Most of the people in the world adhere to bottom up, ascending process. What's that mean? Now that's a question to y'all. What's that mean? Bottom up. That's the question, y'all. Somebody answer the question, please. You never heard that term? Ascending process? Nobody's never heard that term? Huh? What is it then? What is it meant by ascending process? I can't hear you. What does that mean by ascending process? Give me the mic so we can hear it. Okay.
Ascending process in which we try to ourselves understand.
There you go. That's right. That's right. That's 98% of the people on the planet. That's what they do. That's the ascending process. What I think, my opinion. I was on the train in Calcutta 2 years ago. It was one journalist, big journalist. He thinks that the Bhagavad Gita, and it's all right to be interpreted the way you think. That's how Krishna wanted you to. He says Krishna wants you to interpret the book your way. I said, okay, you are a journalist, right? He said, yeah. Okay, well, if you write an article, you want me to understand it my way or the way you wrote the article? Oh, he couldn't defeat that. He said, no. He said, so why would Krishna want you to interpret his words, but But you don't want nobody to interpret your words. He couldn't say nothing. But that's the mindset. That's how we think. Why? Because of the four, because they come under the category of the 4 fours. Remember the 4 fours? The 4 four, I call them the 4 fours. Yes. Mistakes, imperfect senses, illusion, cheating propensity. That's one of them. That's one of the 4 fours. What's the other? What's the second one? No. That 4 four is complete. There's 4 fours. The first 4 four we just named, that's complete. Now there's a second one. The second one is, I'll give you a hint. Animal propensity. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's another 4. That's the second one. Okay, this is the third one. You need a hint? Okay, the birth, death, old age, disease. That's that. And the last one, everybody should know this, especially the initiates. The 4 regulating principles, yes. So those are the 4 fours. So the I call them 4 fours. So we can't interpret what the Lord says. We have to go by what He says directly, and that's the beauty of it. We come from the top down, not the bottom up. Top down. That was what was so impressed when I read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. I was a youngster, 15, but I was blown away. An unbroken chain of acharyas all the way back up to Krishna himself, and each acharya had the same level of qualities and conviction and everything unbroken, one after another, all the way. You never heard that, and I've never seen that ever in any of the spiritual or material backgrounds when it comes to a transmission of great information. Not like that. I was so impressed by that. Evam prampara praptam ram rasho yovidu. I mean, that was, you can see the power of this information that's given in the Vedas. There's no question. And what the acharyas and Prabhupada has given us. So we have to become strong and powerful, like Prabhupada said, like lawyers, and defeat these people. We're not on the same platform. We're not on the same level of everybody else. It's just not true. Far superior. It's far superior. Not even close. But it has to be presented that way. And we're not presenting it that way. And I'm seeing it. We're not Hindus. We don't compromise. Prabhupada didn't compromise. No compromise. As is. Let me share something with you. The other day there was a question asked whether, let me ask you this, I'll ask everyone here then. The question was, when Lord Vyasadeva was saying that when I eat, when the Brahmanas eat, I am eating. And Prabhu, and Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita too. When he eats, the Brahmins eat. Is that symbolic? Is that a symbolic statement? That's a question. Anybody? Because that was the question that was asked the other day in the Bhagavatam class. And Prabhu said, he said, yeah, sometimes it's like that. I said, no. There's nothing comes from the acharyas and the shastra symbolic. When we read these prayers every morning about spiritual master assisting the gopis, that's not a symbolic statement. They actually are doing that. They're capable of doing that. And after that discourse, I went in my toolbox because I knew, but I still always like to refer back to what Prabhupada says on certain subject matters. This is a discourse. Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, you cannot argue with your limited senses. Achinta. Srila Jiva Goswami has said, unless we accept achinta in the supreme, conception of God, there cannot be accommodation, achinta. This has to be added, achinta artaka. Therefore, we say that the words of Shastra should be taken as it is. No change. It is beyond our argument. Just like in the Vedas, it says that cow dung is pure, right? It also says that stool is also impure. So that's like a contradiction. An outsider can say that. Hey, you saying that cow dung is pure, but I just read also in the Vedas it says that cow dung other stool is impure. So that's a contradiction. So what would we say? How do we counteract that if someone said that? Anybody know? We just read it. Prabhupada just said it. That's right. Accept it as no argument. Prabhupada said, generally they argue, and our process is no argument. Take it as it is. Krishna says, this is superior, this is inferior. We accept it. Why superior, why inferior? No such thing. We don't say that. We accept what they say. And when you accept, then the Lord, he reciprocates because according to one's adhikar, he reveals himself. You get to certain levels of realizations because of what? The shraddha, the faith you have in these words. We don't have faith, he's not going to reciprocate. I'll tell you a story, it's a true story. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, once there was a festival and they had some prasadam, but the prasadam was almost to the ground, almost on the floor. Not on the floor, but almost on the floor. It was almost on the floor. So what happened was a dog had went and ate some at some point, some area where the prasadam was. So the devotee was explaining. He was warning a devotee, "Oh, don't touch that prasadam. A dog came by and touched there." And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta overheard it. He was at a distance, so he overheard the conversation. So he said, he asked, where is the spot where the dog touched the prasadam? And so they pointed it. So he went to that same spot, picked up prasadam and put it in his mouth. And his lesson was, this all comes down to how much faith you have in this process. One's faith, how much you have. Krishna reciprocates according to that. Prabhupada said here, he says, Achinta kula ye bhava natam karkena yojayet. Parasya shakti vividaiva shriyate. Svabhavika jnana balakriyata. This is from the Mahabharata. He said, Chinta, our arguments, our thoughts, our chinta, or we can contemplate. He said, achinta means we cannot contemplate it. We have to accept. In other words, it is called avaroha panta, avaroha, and therefore avatada, that which descends. Like I said, top down, parampara, our system. That's how blessed we are. We don't have to speculate or invent or make up stuff. No need to do all that. Just accept and have our faith in the process, and then everything will take care of itself. What's that verse? Tasyaiva to prayate to kovido. Now labdite ya brahmatamma padyada. Tal labdite dukavadya tal sukam. Kalena savacha gambira ramhasya. What it says at the beginning, those who are intelligent and philosophically inclined. So in our life, we're going to have what's called zeros. Everybody got their own zeros that they can have in their life. You have yours amount of zeros, I got mine, such a plus person have theirs. Because as soon as you took birth, everything comes with this body. As soon as you took birth, okay, you're going to have all this karmatic things that come with it. Because nobody asked to get sick. It comes on his own accord. So the point, if we just concentrate on the one and not put so much emphasis on the zeros that's in our life, it would be much better, far superior. So I just implore everybody to take advantage of that and continue the process of what you're doing, and Prabhupada will bless you. So any questions? I'll see it's 9 o'clock. It's at 9. Any questions? No questions? Come on, y'all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you said this point that Bharat Bhumite Manushya Janam Hilayar Janma Sarthakari Kara Prabhupada. The duty of Indians is to spread this knowledge. So, I was wondering whether the duty of Indians is to preach in India only or outside India.
No. No, put your Bible right here. That's why you have to get this book. You will learn all this real quick, very nicely. Actually, I only touched the surface of what Prabhupada says about this subject matter. It's so many, but it's a really good one. And see, I use the being a musician, I use the same format as a songwriter. Usually, a songwriter, when they write a song, the title of the song is what the song's about. So I use the same format, and this book, anyone who has taken birth as a human being in India, Bharat Bhumi, I stayed on this subject over and over again. Yeah, many times when someone writes a book, the title is different from the subject matter. Sometimes that's in the book. But that's not the case here. It goes over and over and over and over again. And to ask the question, right here, page 143, he says, you have got so exalted knowledge in India, but you have kept it packed, and you are going to beg from others. Because I just told you that India is number 2 in the United States as lobby group. So what does that mean? They left here. They had to leave here to go there. They become that powerful, right? Well, what are they doing? What are they doing? They ain't giving this information. They just begging. They become avid corporate personalities. Masters, doctors, engineers, masters. But not leaders. So Prabhupada says here, you are going to beg from others, take this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and assimilate it. First he said assimilate it. Learn it. Make your life successful and distribute it throughout the whole world. Then he says, that I. There you go. Good answer, huh? Good answer? Anybody have a next? Anyone else? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You said 4 force. The first one is like tendency to make mistakes, illusion, like that you told 4.
The 4 fours, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Could you please repeat those 4 force? What are those? What are those 4 force? One is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, and then 4 principles, and then...
The 4 fours I'm saying there, the first 4 is mistakes, illusion, defects, and the cheating propensity, right? That's 4. Okay? The second one, animal propensities. What is that? Eat, sleep, mate, defend. Okay, that's second 4. The third 4. That's called problems of life. What is the problems of life? Birth, death, old age, disease. Because no matter which situation you're in this world, you still you're forced to go through those 4. Birth, disease, old age, and ultimately death. That's the third one. And the last one? The 4 eggs. Right. So I call them the 4 fours. I always teach this to the kids, the children, and they've become real sharp when that, because give them something to remember, when it comes to the 4 fours. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, any other questions? Hare Krishna. So today we are very fortunate as we have got the association of His Grace Shambu Prabhu. Shambu Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. A little introduction about Prabhuji. Shambu Prabhu was born in Germany in 1958. And he comes from a military family in the military. And just at the age of 15 in 1973, Shambu Prabhu joined Srila Prabhupada's mission. As he comes from a military family, soldiers, so Prabhuji had joined in the army of Srila Prabhupada and become a Sankirtan preacher. And since then, Prabhuji is traveling all over the world, preaching the message of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada teachings, distributing Srila Prabhupada books all over the world. And as you have seen, Prabhuji had played guitar. So like that, many traditional, conventional musical instruments Prabhuji plays, that sings bhajans, kirtans, and inspires devotees all over the world. So it's very inspiring to see Prabhuji, You came to Attapur. We are very thankful and very grateful for you, your presence here. Thank you for giving your association. And there is a nice book here. Anyone who has taken birth as a human being in India, Bharata Bhumi. So, this nice quotes from Srila Prabhupada.
And when
This.
at no cost.
So anyone who takes copy, Prabhuji will personally sign and gift you. Yeah. And I heard Prabhuji was also present in 1976 when Abbott's temple was opened by Prabhupada. So, Jai. So we chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. Shambu Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I request please take copies.
This is really wonderful. I appreciate it. And if anybody come up, I'll sign it.
Books. So please come forward, take books. No. Please read all the excerpts from Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Please come forward, take the books. From temple we will take 15 books.
How much for the book? How much for the book? 120? 120. How many you have right now? There's a box right here. Can you take the whole box?